Alright, we're going to enable local area networking for a publishing option to the BrightSign signage players. The first thing you need to do is start the Bright Author software, and at the top you'll see you have local storage, BrightSign network, or simple file network. The local storage would be used for something like a USB drive or publishing to an SD card. The BrightSign network is a subscription-based network that you would have to upload to your BrightSign account. And simple file network is if you had a web server within your LAN pre-configured, you have to have a specific domain name. It could be your own domain name or a domain name specified on your web server, brand new. Of course, you'd have to set up DNS with that as well, with the MX records, all of the aliases if necessary. And potentially, I would imagine you could probably do it on a local web server if it was just a PC acting as a web server. But what we're going to do today is local area network. And in order to do that, go to the Edit, Preferences, and this comes complete with kids in the background. Go to the Network tab, and right here you'll see Enable BrightSign Local Networking. You also have an option to enable Bonjour. I believe this is an Apple product for easy networking. We're going to leave that unchecked. I'm not going to enable that, and it will yell at us here in a second once I say OK. And here it tells us that in order to discover the bright signs, it will require Bonjour. However, we are doing static IPs on all of the boxes, therefore we'll just specify the IP addresses. So I say OK, and notice up here you have local network. So we're in the Publish tab right now. We've already created our presentation. It's called Test Project 1. This is where it pulls from. And the local network, we'll select on that. This is where I have the options to where I'm going to place it. So I could either have it on networked units that I've already populated or specify a new unit. I have to add it. I need to know the IP address. So I'm going to paste in the IP address for unit number 1. I'm not on the network right now, so I'll say OK, and it'll come back to me saying it cannot discover this IP address. In theory, once I'm on the network, it should be able to communicate just fine with that IP address and be able to add it to the list. Right here it says unable to access BrightSign at that IP address. So in theory, it would access that IP address and would populate the list. At that time, we could even specify a firmware update if necessary. If I'm connected to the internet, it'll take a look at what's available for the production release. There's a beta release as well, or a minimum compatibility release for this model of BrightSign unit. And we can even specify a file if we've downloaded the firmware separately. I'm not going to upload any firmware. I've got those updated already. Published to that IP address that we would populate. This is the theory of how it should work, and we'll test it Monday morning.